59 at Radio Free America.
Tonight's episode, The Ripoff.
All right, good morning, everybody. I don't know if my audio is working good or not, but that's what we get. I'll go in here and I'll flip it to audio. Oh, my audio is fine, so hopefully you'll hear me all right. Anyway, nothing really to do this morning. I've got, at this point, about a half of an hour. So we've got about a half an hour before the other stores open, which means I got a couple of minutes here that aren't enough to get into a real project and are longer than I just wanted to sit here watching Instagram. So let's go watch Instagram together, I guess. First off, let's pay some bills. So this is our battle, 2021 battle against taxes and bills. What does that mean? It means I got wailed on with taxes in the last couple of years, and now I owe the government a bunch of money. So they're doing a campaign over at our Gear Website store to make money. So if you want to check it out, go grab that link right there and head over to Gear Websites and consider purchasing something. We'll talk about more of that later. So now I'm going to go over to Instagrams. Looking at our stuff over here, we got a little rifle that we posted yesterday during the rip-off of the Daily Gun Show. And they were talking about the crickets. So this is my little stainless steel cricket 22 Magnum. It's pretty awesome. I put a big Horkin scope on there. Makes it even awesomer. That's in 22 Magnum, and it's stainless and orange. So I don't think it's possible to get any better unless it was 17. Then we got another stainless gun, this little Bauer. So this is a stainless steel clone of the Browning. Only I don't think the Browning had a safety. It may have. We got the post I did for Masada Ayub. Made that a couple years ago. Posted on his birthday. Saying about how good he is. Then, what is this, Python? Fancy Python. Took that picture a long time ago. Had these silver bullets, and there was this fancy silver gun. I was like, hey, that worked out pretty good. Did this post about 80%ers after yesterday's reading of the comments. Turns out, gun owners are wimpy, and we can't handle more than one comment. So we're going to get clobbered, and guns are going to now be insane. They're going to make every part of a rifle a gun. And manufacturers will go out of business. There'll be no more guns. And then the other side won. So that was frustrating, so I made a post about it. Let's see, another couple of anniversary posts. It was Glock's birthday. That dude's pretty old, 1929. Then it was Colt's birthday. He's dead. He invented the revolver, though. The modern revolver. There's a hole in my roof I'm fixing. My leg fell into this hole. This is the part where my revolver smashed into. So you can see the rest of it was nice and clean, but where the 357 smashes into it, it gets even more smashed. Well, it's feeling better after a couple of days. Oh, look at that little puppy. So why don't you call your representatives? So here's the number to give them a call. The Chipman, whatever that guy's name is. That guy's a jerk. Oh, my screen's not being shared. That's a good point. I guess I should go back here and screen share. Wait a minute. Am I screen sharing? Screen sharing the wrong screen. Let's get another screen. You don't care about that screen. Alright, I guess we're going back to the beginning. Alright, so we got a couple of people showing up. When people show up that haven't already bought stuff from the store, we'll talk about the stuff from the store over here. We're having our battle against bills and taxes. So got 3 more orders, $25 or more, that are getting in the running for these free hats. And I figured do a half an hour-ish show, since I got about a half an hour before the stores open here, to encourage people to grab stuff from the store, keep us in the fight, and whatnot. So we're just kind of bullshitting, chatting, and looking at Instagram. Let's see. So we're going to go to, Tony says, something about Jersey gun law seminar on the 24th. What's the 24th? 24th is this Saturday. Proposed pistol brace changes, transportation of firearms, red flag laws. They're going to have this attorney there, and it's put on by U.S. Law Shield. Interesting. Mom at Arms also chatting it up, so let's give Tony a thumb on that, and Mom at Arms a thumb on that. Chipman's handlers prepping him for his hearing. Okay. Louisiana Vita. How bad is that fan noise in the background, by the way? I guess I didn't think about that. It's pretty loud over there. We'll turn it down. That's the way it hurts. It basically just feels like if I had run somewhere a lot, like I'm sore. But whatever. All right, so then we got Gun Culture posted Chris's covers. I know other people have complained, so I figured I'd turn it off. Plus, I don't really do. People shooting full auto at the Machine Gun Nest. New Hampshire Machine Gun Fest. I guess I should read it better. Something from A Girl and a Gun. Them girls are getting more and more comfortable with being gun people. Now you have to say gun people instead of gun dudes. Rogue Banshee's ordering stuff and bragging about it. This is Philosopher. She's always shooting guns half the time. This is the guy from Soldier Systems on his other channel, the Green Beret Foundation. Pincus working something. This is a cool place that in Wyoming. That's pretty cool. So I'll click on that. Oh snap! Oh yeah, killed it. That was a big fat one too. It's been biting the hell out of me. Mosquito, dead. In air, clapping it. So Rebecca Schmoy is saying about a Stop the Bleed class that's in Kansas. So I already highlighted it. I guess I've seen this before. But Stop the Bleed is pretty good. It's usually just a couple of hours long, and it is all the basics on stopping bleeding. So bleeding, if you don't know, the ABCs of first aid, right? Airway, breathing, circulation. Airway, make sure that you can breathe, make sure that they are breathing, right? You can only last moments without air, oxygen. But bleeding, you know, you can last forever without food. You can last for a while without water, but you're not going to last very long bleeding out. So bleeding is ABC, circulation. You need to have circulation, I suppose, but once you know that you are got a beating heart, you also want to make sure it ain't bleeding out. So anyway, bleeding is pretty high on the list of priorities, and lots of things can puncture us. We're just a bunch of meat bag or blood bags walking around with some meat holding us together. So all kinds of things, from knives to sharp sticks to rocks. You know, I just jammed my leg through the roof the other day, and if I would have been wearing plain old shorts, then or if I would have had a couple of sheath knives, just if I was like just appendix carrying a bunch of sheath knives without the sheaths, and then the roof, holy moly, that could have been dangerous. And in that situation, I probably could have cut myself. It would have been likely to I would have cut myself. And then I would have needed to know how to stop the bleeding. So anyway, I was just watching a dude, some other Instagram post that was being fed to me, saying about tampons being good for stopping bleeding. They're good for absorbing blood, so they make a nice, neat corpse. You won't see a lot of blood on the dead body, but they're not going to do the job of clotting and stopping blood flow. So that's what these Stop the Bleed classes do, is they, if you can handle being around blood, which I'm hoping if you're a parent or if you give a shit about other people that you can get past that phobia pretty quick for when it's necessary. I'm not saying you need to hang out around blood or nothing, but go to one of these classes. They're going to teach you some of the 2021 type knowledge set of how to stop bleeding. And like I say, lots of things from what do you call it, from traffic accidents to falls and things falling on us can make us bleed, and we can bleed out pretty easily. So anyway, that's interesting to see that. A lot of people also say if you're going to carry around stuff to make holes, you better figure out how to stop the holes or stop the blood also. This one's from Nighthawk. This is pretty good. I guess I liked it on my other channel. To be old and wise, you must first have to be young and stupid. Here's the thing, though. That's true. But you can also watch a whole bunch of other people be young and stupid. So by being old and wise, you know, you're seeing a lot of the young people be stupid. Stephen Holbrook's one of the authors that is responsible for some of this. He's definitely on the shoulders we stand today. His shoulders we stand. We stand on his shoulders today. Is that how I say it? But it's not like he's single-handedly did anything that I'm aware of. But he has written some books that inspired people to do some stuff, and has been brought in as an expert witness and that kind of thing on some of the stuff from Heller to other things that we've got today. So I follow this guy. He's pretty 2A. He's kind of like John Lott, except from a different angle. So like that. It says the yeomanry of America have besides an infinite advantage. I don't know what that means. Besides the infinite advantages over the peasantry, over the countries. Oh, did I get that one too? It all over my hand. I'm gonna light this citronella candle. I don't know why I did it. This time I got. Nobody's really saying anything. This is boring. I don't know how people do these shows where they just say stuff at you. It's lame. I feel like I'm doing some kind of TV show. So say stuff or something. I don't have to be live. Let's see. Then we got Soldier System again. They're into old movies. This is Skips Tactical. She's pretty cool. Instructor out of Florida. I think she's still in the Air Force, or else she's just recently out. But I've had the opportunity to watch her instruct, and she's a decent instructor. I really like her instructing style and capacity. I don't know if that's the right word. Like her ability. I don't know if that's the right word either. But she's super knowledgeable, and she can tell she's super comfortable being an instructor. I've started following the USA shooting team, although they screw around with the flags so damn much. I have a real problem liking their shit. So here's what they're doing. Walking around trying to be cool. They're in Tokyo getting ready to shoot the Olympics. A bunch of people don't care. I don't really care. But, the United States and stuff. So I don't know why everything's purple, but everything's purple. And then here's the indoor stuff. We also have the other shooting team. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, there's three shooting teams over in Tokyo right now. Yep. When it's hot like this, I typically will be awake during the night when it's cooler, right? And cheaper electricity. So I blow the fans through the house. My house is big, thick brick. So once the inside is cool, then I turn off all the fans and shut down the windows and go to sleep for a while. And then sleep during the hot part of the day, which works out pretty good because it's also out here in Arizona when the when the electricity is the most expensive. So normally that's what I'm doing. So this is sort of my evening. So yeah, I'll be checking out here in a little bit. However, I went over and bought almost $300 worth of roof goop. So I don't know if they probably do this in Texas. You get this roof paint, right? And it's white. At least here in Arizona, we get it in white so that it'll reflect. And something like this. I don't buy this fancy stuff, but something like this, where you get some reflectivity, you get some waterproofing. So I went up there and did I guess you know what? I'm on Instagram. I can go over to this Instagram and do this. This is the hole. We already seen the hole from over here. This was the sort of the before shot, and then this was, we're going to call it the after shot. I didn't want to get my phone all full of tar. This is the tar that's everywhere. It looks nice and clean in this picture, but it didn't stay very nice and clean. So this is all right now covered in tar and roof coatings and whatnot, like this asphalt coating here. So you can see like wood, tar paper, asphalt paper, or whatever it's called, rolled roofing. So I got to apply all that, I'm painting the top of whatever was fixed here the other day. This is about mid-fix. So that's where the hole was, and then the reason I was up on the roof was, I guess I don't have a picture of it, was just another, this patch. So this has all been patched and redone and whatnot, and now I'm going to be going up there with like $300 worth of paint and painting it. I don't think I put a picture of the rest of the roof. Anyway, it's not the worst roof in the world, but it's also pretty bad. So that's what we're doing later on today. So I'm sort of flip-flopping on my schedule. It's also getting a little bit cooler, so I'll be backing off of that as the temperature gets normal again. My intention isn't to flip-flop like that, but it's cheaper. All right, so right now I'm waiting for 7 o'clock because here in Arizona, because that's when the stores will open and I can go buy a couple of cheap paintbrushes at the dollar store. I need a couple of big fat cheap paintbrushes to wipe this stuff around some of the edges and stuff. I'm also letting some of the heat of the morning here cook off whatever moisture is up on the roof right now so that I'm not painting moisture into the roof more than I need to. However, I'm also battling, it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So if I wait too long, then I'm just unnecessarily working in the heat on the roof, which is lame. So I'm going to cut it off here in 15 minutes, go to the store, buy that paintbrush, paint the rest of the roof off. Here, we're in the 2021 battle against taxes and bills, which means I screwed up the last couple of years and got a huge tax bill for me. It turns out it's a very tiny tax bill compared to regular people, but for me it's a crippling tax bill. And so we're capitalists here. So we're fighting against Biden and the taxes, even though they're Trump's taxes, really. And also paying bills along the way. And we do that by selling stuff. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So there's people in here. So this little chat, this little ultra marathon is to let people know, I'm going to go back over to the Instagram, that we are doing this campaign where we got these hats. And underneath of these hats is loot. And it's random loot. And when you order something $25 or more, basically so that I don't have to worry about paying for shipping on it, we're going to take one of these hats, put them in a padded envelope, and you're going to discover what loot is underneath of it. So I've randomized the loot underneath of these hats. I've also removed the gloves because I just trashed a pair of gloves up on the roof, and I'm going to take them gloves out of there and replace them with something interesting. We'll do a special video. Wow, that hurt. We'll do a specific video to talk about how the gloves swap. I don't think anybody's going to care. It was like a $3 pair of gloves. But anyway, there's this random kind of loot. Some of it's awesome, some of it's lame, some of it's in the middle. And whenever you purchase something, you pick your hat, right? There's some note, you can leave notes when you purchase something, I think. I don't know if I can see the shopping cart until I buy something, but you know, when you order something, there's a place where you can leave notes and let us know which hat you're looking for. Go ahead and leave a couple of options because we know that DJ already grabbed this one, the red Hornady hat. But if anybody wants that one specifically, let us know. A couple of people have said they don't care, just a random hat. So once the hats are divvied, once we know whose hats are whose, we're going to go live. We're going to uncover them, and then everybody's going to have the loot that's available to them, right? The loot that was under their hat. However, to make it fun and exciting, we're going to do a loot swap, where if you got whatever loot and you weren't satisfied with your loot and you want to swap it with somebody who's got different loot, then you'll be able to swap loot. It'll be pretty awesome. So we need 3 more hats to get sold to have that maximum, the max hat. To be maximum hattage, we need 3 more hats to get sold. So that's like $75 total. So if that happens to this morning, that'd be great. Otherwise, we'll do it with less than 9 hats sold. Yep, that'll happen. So we'll do that later today, mainly so that I can send that stuff out already. Anyhow, so that's our battle against taxes and bills. And we've had a couple of different campaigns in the battle, or battles in the campaign, however that would work out. This hat swap thing is the newest, and we need to finish it before Friday because Friday is going to start a whole nother campaign. So And I also need to send that stuff. People bought this stuff last Friday, and I still got it here. So let's talk about some of the stuff that we've got over there. We had some Every Second Matters patches that we sewed here in Tucson. Those are gone. I may add more to that, but probably not. I don't like sewing that. It takes forever. Then there was some of these Daily Gun Show patches. We did them in a couple of custom colors, testing out some new materials and stuff. And, we don't do a Daily Gun Show anymore, but there's 1,600 episodes of it, 1,200 episodes. I don't know. A lot of episodes of it just sitting over there for people to listen to. So, those are sort of vintage, except no, not vintage, memorial patches, I guess. Next up is Chairs Against the Wall. So if you know what Chairs Against the Wall is, then you know. If you don't, then maybe you should head over to Chair is Against the Wall. Oh, look at that. If you put capital on, there's no point. So if you go to chairsagainstthewall.com, you'll find out that it's 11:59 on Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, we've got a few words from our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chairs against the wall. The chairs against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock America, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the enemy lines, this is your song. So if you know what that is, then you know what that is, and now you know what the chairs against the wall part is. So, boom, there's the website for it. And this is where you can buy some of them. So the first gen was this folding chair, just like a regular folding chair against the wall, right? And then the second version of it was a wooden chair. There's also a third version of it. Somebody might know what it is or might not. But anyway, so I was trying the new materials and sewed these out. I'm going to try to keep these as a regular thing now. Made a whole bunch of red, white, and blue ones for the 4th of July. You know how many of those got sold? 0. So there's a whole bunch of these left. Let's see. Then we've got the 81 percenters. What is that all about? The 81% is when CloverTech, this dude from Texas, who does all kinds of interesting stuff online, including Second Amendment awareness and helping others to get to do their online stuff. Let's see if you type in CloverTech. Boom. Go to his channel. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, we're going to hear his commercial now. Boom, go to his channel. Well, that dude was hosting a 10.5-hour epic marathon watching the Texas legislatures listen to testimony from 197 Texans who showed up in Austin earlier this year. I don't remember when this was, a couple of months ago. And this almost 200 Texans showed up in Austin, waited for 10.5 hours to be able to testify for 2 minutes, 120 seconds. And Clover went live and watched that whole thing. And I sat here watching pretty much that whole thing with everybody. And it turns out the people there were watching it too. And it turns out it was a really neat experience to be part of somebody who was just trying to both observe and make aware, right? That's what Clover was trying to do. And it turned out he created a platform, a place for collaboration and an evolution, because people were watching his 10-hour coverage. They were able to see what the other people were saying for 2 minutes. And while the antis got bust there and were complacent with watching their Instagram or something, whatever the hell they wasted their time with, probably Facebook. I shouldn't be mad at Instagram. Instagram's good. Facebook sucks. So while they were probably sitting around just doing nothing, all these people who were pro individual rights and freedom were watching Clover, seeing what other people who were pro individual rights and freedom were saying, and they were adjusting their testimonies. So it was awesome. And one of the things that the antis did, which lets us know that that is what went down, is that they got up there and used 81%, this bogus ratio or bogus percentage of, I forget exactly what is, something like 81% of Texans hate guns or some garbage idiot thing. And they'd each get up there and cite that as if, they had the passcode or something, like they had the cheat code to get the legislation to go their way. They had the secret knock. Hey, 81% of Texans hate guns. Let's not forget that. Well, so we took that 81% and we played around with it. Used to have some software that let us build these patches. So we put it together in our Wolverine design, put it together in the regular Texas with a circle around it. As you can see on some of these others, I tried it alone also, but it's really a pain in the butt to make that into a patch. 1,000 times easier to make it a circle. And since we made it a circle, we might as well make it a Wolverine. So if you know what the Wolverine thing is all about, see this. If you know what that's all about, then this is a version where the Texas is holding up an AK. Or you don't understand that, you don't get it, you don't like it, you don't approve of this, then we got a circular version for you. And it is state of Texas with a circle around it, and it says 81% on there. So that's a little nod to the people that know, and not that many people know, and not that many people buy them. But these are $45, right? 45, right? And they're goofy. So not a lot of these are going to be made, or if they do, they're going to start looking better. So you're basically getting one of a kind, never been done before, never be done again, sloppy versions of the Wolverines. So you're also helping us pay bills. Remember, that's what this is all about. So appreciate the people that buy these overpriced patches for sure. Next up, we have a couple that we tried to go fancy with. Actually, we have just the one because the other one got sold out, I think. Yep. This one is still available. It's one of my favorites, but never sold it before. Probably will never sell it because I got it at $75. Yep. $75 patch you're looking at right there. Let's see. Next up is these Red Dawn ones, brought to you by popular demand of a request by somebody who never bought one. So there we go. Made them in a couple of different colors, testing out the different materials. Next up is the Wolverines. We've been doing these for a while. This is the new design on some of the new materials. Got a couple of different colors of that left. The Carrot is one of the Wolverine designs. Got this Taco Wolverine design and the Liberty. And these are all $45 because you're helping us to buy, or not to buy, but to buy bills, to fight against taxes and bills though. So I do appreciate the people that purchase stuff from the store. These are all made by us with these hands here in Tucson. We have robots that do our bidding. We instruct those robots exactly what to do. And then whenever they kick out something, we fix it and then sell it to you. And it's all sloppy and weird, but 100% made in USA, tech in Tucson, with parts sourced mostly from USA. Not all of them, though, unfortunately. Beyond that, though, we have all kinds of stuff over at the store. Our cards, for example, are projects that we've done in the past where we went live and researched and then went live and laid out and designed the cards and then went live and did a crowdfunding campaign 3 different times and then resulted in 3 different card decks. Now, those, of course, are made in USA. 2 of them are made in Texas. 1 of them is made in Tennessee. And actually, we're trying to be probably doing one more this year. But we still have 2 of the versions of our cards still available over at the store. The AK decks are sold out at this point. We have some other stuff like stickers and other interesting stuff. And then one of the other things we've been putting a lot of time into is the publishing. And these aren't fancy books that you would get in a New York city town or city store, but they're authentic books, handcrafted in Tucson, made on our printer right over here that is not all that good. Often breaks, and you'll see things like this line going through the color because the printer was broken for a while. But we fix it when we can and continue to print things out. You're paying a lot of money for these books because you're helping us pay taxes and bills, right? So thanks for the people that overpay for these books, but we do print these books out here. Again, the books were, for the most part, not always, but a lot of the stuff was researched live, researched because of conversations and live shows, and then often drawn or created or laid out live so that people can see the process, the software, and whatever we're doing here, we can get help from people, kind of a collaborative thing. Then we print them. And I've even done some videos showing how we print them and bind them. We have the simple binding and then the fancier binding. And eventually we'll get somebody to get in on printing for real. But for now, these are all available. We have the one on the AK-47 books, which is basically a bunch, which is a book that has the entire AK library for the most part. Not every manual, but pretty much every book written in our language and some of the other big languages, and definitely includes all the major books you'd want as a collector or somebody who's interested in researching the AK or the Kalashnikov. I need to change that because they actually aren't sold out. We can print more of those. Then we have the Firearms Museum Passport. Well, it says they're sold out. We'll have to go in and change that. Dang it. I thought I had the inventories all figured out, so I guess I'm not. The Passport is it's another, I need to put my pictures in here. This is a 30-page book. It has about 30 of the firearms museums in it. We've got photos and information on everything from the number of guns and the history of the museums to the accessibility, what it's like to scoot around in the museums if you're on wheels or got a cane or something. And then even like what the bathrooms are like. So we're trying to offer a real guide to for people that are going to these museums. And we've been to all of them. So if you have any other questions on them, let us know. Then we have the calendar, which is the same information from the museum passport deal, but in a calendar. I guess I should mention that the passport is a passport because I was sitting here 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I think, watching, there's a thing where the firearms museums get together and hang out once a year and whine and complain to each other about how miserable it is and how bad their lives are. So, and how mean the rest of the people are for not going to their museums. So I'm watching that complaint session, and they don't invite me to it, of course, so I have to watch it online. And then I'm watching it, and all they did is mope about how nobody goes to their museums and blah, blah, blah. So instead of doing anything, or not doing anything, I made this concept of the passports, and I sent that to the people I knew who could get that to the people in charge of this firearms museum pile, and they blew it off. So I said, okay, well, fine, then I'll just do it. So this was my attempt to offer the firearms museums, who get together every year and don't invite me and bitch and moan about how nobody goes to their stupid museums. And this was me offering them like an option, like, hey, here's an idea. What if you made a passport book where people bought the passport book, and when they went to the museums, you gave them a stamp in their passport book? And they're like, oh, no, why don't you go shut up? So I was like, all right, I'll just do it myself. So there's no stamps or nothing, but we did make a book, and it's got all these different museums, and it looks like a passport. So that's what I did. Then we've got the calendar. Beyond that, we made another book on mini revolvers, and this has a bunch of information about them historically and in the modern versions. And since I've met everybody except for 2 people involved in the modern mini revolvers, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this book. And the only people I haven't met would be Kasul and then Tally. And I learned something else out about Tally the other day that I might need to make an update of this book just because it's super interesting. And what was it? Tally is something. Tally is like Armalite or something. So I didn't even know. So I'm still learning stuff, and that's why these books are going to be historic, right? Because eventually I'll fix it, or I'll learn something more and update it, and then that first one will be a first edition. Let's see, and then last but not least is the 50 States of 2A. That one took forever, and that is a big book. It takes forever to print. Oh shit, I don't charge enough for this book. I'll be updating the price on this book because of it costs so much to print. Originally, I just wanted to get it out there for people to use it, and not that many people like it, I guess, so nobody buys it. Right on, thanks for the $10. I really appreciate that. I'll be using that when I go out right now to go buy some paintbrushes and stuff. So basically, the idea is that we've got a lot of information from the 2A History Project. A lot of it, well, all of it's online. However, having it online is one thing. Having a piece of paper in your hand or book on a shelf is another. And our real goal is to get the Second Amendment into our hands, our conversations, and into our heads in different ways, right? So that we can understand on whose shoulders we stand and be more effective and evolve the conversation going forward so that we are better and more able and more comfortable having conversations with people who are on the fence or don't think about guns. And it's not that you have to teach them about 38s, just teach them about something interesting, like interchangeable parts. It created the Industrial Revolution thanks to Colt. Isn't it interesting that school makes it seem like the cotton gin guy who came over and copied off a Colt is the guy that invented it? That has nothing to do with making somebody care about guns, but it's a way to show that guns have been marginalized, and the Overton window has been intentionally moved to keep guns out of the spotlight when they're actually integral to not only our country's history, but because our country is a huge, important, overall peaceful country without, ambition to take over the world. Having the development of firearms happen significantly in this country, it becomes part of our culture, and you're desperate to remove that. Anyway, to resist that, right? That's our goal in our 2A history projects, to offer a resistance to that marginalization, to that movement of the Overton window to make guns less and less focus of looking back at history. Every time we research history, we add it to the websites, and occasionally we take those websites and try to turn them into a book, and that's what this is an attempt to do. First was the almanac, and then was this was the second. So we took the information from the almanac and we put it into a format based on location, based on geographics, right? So took all the information from the almanac, which I guess I didn't talk about yet, and which is the culmination of all the different websites and stuff, put them into one page for each state. So each state has some information like the state Second Amendment, when the state was created, has their flag and the state shape. We've got the status of concealed carry, constitutional carry, whether or not they can open carry, whether or not they can use suppressors for hunting, whether or not they have a state firearm. And then if they've had any significant legislation, something like the Montana law or something, then we have notations for that kind of stuff. Then the rest of the page, that's like at the top of each page, the rest of the page is just information about the state. So if they've got businesses or manufacturers or other industry in the state, if they've got museums, if they've got ranges, if they've had significant Second Amendment events happen there, humans, the people that were born there or live there are associated with the different states. All that is laid out, and it's all crammed together because there's a lot of information, and I built this before I got our new binder. So the only way I could make this book out of the color printer was to take a piece of paper and fold it in half. So everything is small because it all has to jam in there. Anyway, the 50 States at 2A is an interesting project. However, it is too small. It's too hard to read it all. So we're now building an 8.5 by 11 version called the Second Amendment. What's it called? Second Amendment Handbook. Second Amendment Resource Handbook. And of course, that was a crowdfunding campaign that didn't come to fruition, but 70% of the work is done. So we're continuing to work on the 2A history project. And if you'd like to grab some of the evolution of that, most of the information is available in the 50 States at 2A. Then we got the almanac. I guess I need to go in here and turn on the almanac. We had our first run, which was like the first draft, and it's dead now because it's been updated. So now we have the second draft, and we did this as a crowdfunding thing in 2019, and it wasn't successful because we were also headed to the first of the DC rallies, the real life DC rally that happened. So it kind of killed the almanac that year. But the almanac is a calendar-based version of what we just talked about, all the different data and all the different interesting bits of history that are on the websites. We attempted to learn the publishing software, so this is definitely crude. This was our first attempt at accumulating everything offline into software and then laying it out and trying to figure out how to put it into a book that's just two pieces of paper folded, or a piece of paper folded in half. So this one is also packed full of information. There's a lot of it. It's one of my favorite things we've ever done, but needs to be updated. It's a lot of tedious work. So we'll see if people are going to be interested in one for 2022. If they are, then we'll need to get work on it here at some point. But the The almanac is what started the publishing stuff. You can still get a copy of the 2020 first edition. It's like an updated first edition. And I'll just have to go in and turn it on. So if you want to grab those, they're probably going to be more like $30 now. They used to be $20, but because of cost of ink and paper and whatnot, I'll probably make it more like 30 something, maybe $357. I'll do it, $335.70. Because what are we doing? We're trying to raise money to fight against bills and taxes. So the tax bill is huge, and it's huge for us. Once we battle it, though, once we've accomplished that tax bill, then it's just bills again. And bills, I don't spend a lot of money, so our bills ain't huge. It's just that they keep coming. For some reason, every single month they want us to pay these bills. So we appreciate the people that help us with that. I think at this point, I can go to the store. I'm going to use money provided by Sharpshooter. Thank you very much. Buy a couple of those cheap dollar store, like giant dollar store paintbrushes, and then use that to apply that roof goop to our roof. So that'll reflect the heat, make it cooler in the house. It'll absorb less heat. It'll make it waterproof and more comfortable in here. So I do appreciate the people that stuck around. Let me waste some time this morning. Go watch Clover Attack. I don't think he does anything today, but he's doing stuff good all the time. So find something interesting over there, I guess. Here's our Instagram if you want to go check it out. If you're super bored, you want to check out awesome, cool pictures and inspirational awareness things, like when Masada Ayub was born, or when Gaston Glock was born, or when Sam Colt was born, for example. Or you can look at this puppy. That's on Instagram. This is our Gear website store. We are in a battle against taxes and bills. Bills suck. Taxes are also sucky. So you can help us as capitalists to attack those, take them out at the knees. That's what we'll do. We'll also say something witty as we take out the bills at the knees, so that it's like an action movie. And with that, we'll end this one with a couple of outro commercials. So thanks everybody for watching. We will be back to pick you up later.
History proves to us that when a nation's citizens lose the right to keep and bear arms in their defense, the balance of power always tilts in favor of tyrants. Understand the Second Amendment for what it is, the scale of peace.
The DC Project was an idea I had when I visited DC as a tourist, and a friend of mine set up a meeting with my congressman. I asked him, is there something that I can do as a professional shooter to reach out to the legislators? I hope it goes for all the 50 women, that at least they know their face, they know their name, and they know their story. Now we are expanding our efforts to the state and local level to be a counter voice to anti-gun groups like Bloomberg's Every Town for Gun Safety, as well as a counter visual to the red shirts of Moms Demand Action.
We don't look like what people like to villainize as the face of Second Amendment rights, but we truly are.
I am the Second Amendment.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com. Do 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 do.